Good morning, you guys, it's Karen, and I wanted to come and do a video on pain relief, which I have done videos on pain relief before, but I wanted to do a specific video on natural pain relief, so non-medical pain relief, not prescription pain relief, because I know there will be a lot of people out there that do not want to take tablets, not even paracetamol, etc. And I'm not one of those people. I'm happy to take prescription painkillers, over-the-counter painkillers, but I never used to be. You know, I used to want to deal with everything naturally, and there are a lot of things that I use that are natural and that actually help a lot more than any prescription painkillers. So I've got quite a few things to tell you about here to give you an idea of the things I'm talking about that these relieve. I've got arthritis in my knees, my ankle. I've got arthritis in everywhere, let's just say that. But where I get the most pain is in my knees. I've got migraine, obviously, so I get headaches, I get neck pain, I get bladder pain. What else have I got down here that will help? Back pain. I get really bad back pain. I don't talk about that too often, but I do get back pain. I get really bad indigestion pain. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. So these are the types of things that I've got quite a few solutions that are non-medical. Number one is heat, and I would say don't underestimate heat. Like, even if you've tried it before for one thing and it hasn't worked, maybe try it for another. But for me, I would say heat works for 90% of things that I have wrong. I've even used it for a really bad throat infection I had. I got my heat pad and put it on my throat and it was really soothing. But I've got two different heat pads that I use here that are particularly useful. So the first one is this one. And so why this is useful is because it is one that sits on your shoulders. So this one is just a straight heat pad, and I think a lot of people have these and try to use them around your neck, and although they do work, they're not as good as these. Oh, sticking to the thing. They're not as good as these ones that are specifically designed for the neck and shoulders. So I'll try and see if I can link one of these for you. I'm sure the last time I looked I struggled, but I did end up finding one. It has got a little clip thing here, but I never put that on. But I use this. I'll go through phases of using this every day. I used this yesterday. I haven't used it so far today, but I used it yesterday because my neck was hurting. And every time we go in the car on a journey at the weekend for a walk, I heat this up before we leave and I have it on in the car so that my neck doesn't hurt. It's just so soothing because when it's sitting on your shoulders, there's a lip there that's right against your neck. So good. So that helps me with neck pain. This one helps me with back pain, and why this one is a bit different is because it's got this Velcro, and so you can strap it onto your back. I sent my mum one of these and she really likes it. She finds it really useful as well, and it just means that you can walk around and you've got the heat on your back. So I've also used those for bladder pain. Heat helps on my knee, but then I haven't found anything useful that I can put on my knee and, you know, heat wise, and it's constant. I've tried like creams and things. I've tried inserts into knee supports and whatnot. Nothing so far has worked well, but that's what the heat helps for me. The second thing that I would say is worth a try is KT tape. So this is KT tape, and usually it's in a big roll. I've got another roll in my drawer there that comes about like that. You can get this from Amazon. I use the KT Extreme because then it stays on longer and you can shower, and you know, this stays on for sort of 3 or 4 days. There's loads of videos on YouTube on how to apply this depending on what you've got. You can apply this pretty much anywhere. You can use it on your neck, your shoulder, your elbow. I've tried it on my elbow I have tennis elbow. But where I find it most useful is on my knee. If I put this on, it makes such a difference in my knee pain. And in fact, I always tell people I had this on my wedding day, and I don't think I'd have been able to dance or walk around on my wedding day without having this on my knees. I put this on my dad's back when he was alive, and it helped his back. I've tried it on my neck. It doesn't help my neck so much, but it does help my back a little bit sometimes, but it's not as reliable. I find that my knee and my elbow is where it's been really useful. Have I used it on? I've used it on Kev a couple of times, but I can't think what it's been useful for. For my knee, it's just invaluable. So it's worth a try wherever you've got a pain in your body that's, you know, due to some kind of arthritis. Give this a go. And I was not only on the trial, but in charge of the trial when I worked in the hospital for this, that showed that it does work. And not only does it work while it's on, it continues working after you've taken it off, because what the trial was that we put KT tape on, well, you did some exercises on weight machines, put the KT tape on, wear it for 3 days, come back and do some exercises, and it shows it actually helps your muscles. There's lots of ways in that KT tape helps, so it's something to consider if you're in a lot of pain. Number 3 is my TENS machine. This is something that I use for back pain, and I use this when my back's got really bad, and that's normally after I have washed Watson. So like I've been bending over the bath washing him, or if I've groomed him or something and my back's got really bad, I will put just 2 of the electrodes on my back and use this for at least an hour, sometimes 2, you know, like maybe once in the morning, once in the afternoon, something like that. And that normally just puts it back to being bearable, you know, and then I can use a heat pad, and that gives me that nice soothing relief as well. But it takes away that sort of really acute back pain, and so that's been a saviour for me. It really has. It's one of those things where it'd be the difference between it getting worse and getting to the point where I can barely move, but if I use this, it just sort of brings it back to manageable level. I have tried this on my knee and it hasn't done much for me. I've tried it on my neck, but I can't get the electrodes to stick properly, and I just don't seem to be able to get it in the right place. So it hasn't been useful for that. So this has been something that's just been useful for my back. I haven't tried it for bladder pain or anything like that. Apparently they're great for childbirth, so I probably should have been using this over the years I had endometriosis, but it might be worth trying if you have that, if you have period pain. But it definitely works for back pain for me, and I recommended it to my friend, and she has used it and found it to be useful as well. Number 4 is supplements. Now I have just done that video on supplements, but in case you didn't have time to watch it because it was a big video, there's 4 that I have here that I use, I think you could say, for pain relief. The first one is pumpkin seed oil. A lot of people are asking why I'm using supplements. You don't have to use supplements, you can use the actual pumpkin seed oil. I don't know if it would work as well, but I don't use it just because I don't like the taste. I did try it, but I take pumpkin seed oil for my bladder pain. I don't know whether it would work for anything else, but for bladder, it's specifically, there's been trials and whatnot, there's been research studies. It is really, really good for bladder pain, and I would highly recommend trying it for male and female, so give that a go. Peppermint and ginger I use if I've got indigestion sort of in the chest and throat area, although ginger is also supposed to settle your stomach, and if you've got nausea of any kind, it doesn't work that well for me, but I know a lot of people who do find it works. My dog walker actually used this and stopped his antacids that he was on and used ginger instead, and peppermint for me works, and I give both of these to my husband when he gets a sore tummy if he has any kind of rich food, and I will give him these too, and they work for him. And the same kind of thing with slippery elm. Slippery elm is something that's supposed to help with the digestion, but it's more the sort of lower end. So if you're having any upset tummies or anything like that, this can be like a bandage for the tummy. So I often take these, and they're supposed to be very similar to the action of omeprazole, lansoprazole, that kind of thing. So if you don't want to increase, say you're on a small dose of lansoprazole or omeprazole and you don't want to increase it, you could take one of these, or if you don't want to start it, you could try this and see if this helps instead. And there are lots of supplements I could talk about, obviously, but supplements is something that you could look at. Number 5 is essential oils. Again, essential oils is something you think of as being really mild, and I remember Billy Connolly joking about it and saying, you know, if he was in an accident, he did not want to see an aromatherapist, he wanted to see a paramedic, and you know, that makes sense. But I would say don't underestimate them. They can be really useful, and for me they have been, I was going to say as powerful as medication, not quite as powerful, but peppermint is one that I use for all sorts of things. I love the smell of it. It smells amazing. But I use this for pain relief with migraine and headache, and that is something that I think most people get a real benefit from. And I gave it to a girl that worked for me, actually. She had a really bad headache. Excuse me. And I was leaving for the day, and I left her with my little roller ball of peppermint oil in, and she was just like, this is just amazing. And then I heard that she told somebody else about it, and they tried it and they thought it was amazing. If you just put some peppermint oil on your head, you're not really supposed to use it neat. You're really supposed to mix it in with a carrier oil, but I use it neat. I just put it on a cotton bud and put it across my head, and it kind of cools it down, and it's very, very soothing. If you mix this with a little bit of like hand lotion or something like that and put it on any joints, so I will put a little bit on my knee. My knee is very, very sore today, and that can be very soothing because it's cooling and it kind of takes away the pain. And I also use this for my bladder issues. I've talked about a spray that I've made up that's got peppermint in it, that if you spray in that area it kind of numbs it. So there's lots of different ways you can use your essential oil, so maybe have a look into whatever your condition is and see if there's anything you can do with essential oils. Number 6 on the list is infrared light treatment. I've got 2 options here. This one is one of my most used. This is the Care lamp, and it's quite a big lamp, as you can see. I use this, and I will use this today because my knee is bad. Like I said, I'm limping. I'll use this, and then I will put some of that peppermint oil on it. Or I might actually use my little handheld device. I'll see how I feel. But this has given me relief before. This is really good for anti-inflammatory. Actually, I should have mentioned take turmeric in these supplements. But I use this on my dog as well when he has any kind of flare up in his joints. I use this. You can use this for any kind of wound healing. It's also great at being anti-inflammatory and wound healing, so it would be a great pain relief. But I've also got a little handheld thing here that you get from Current Body that you can use. You just switch it on like so. See it there, and hold it. It's a bit more targeted, so if you've got a smaller area. So I was thinking, I know exactly where it on my kneecap is hurting today, so I might just hold that on it instead of sitting next to that lamp. I don't know, I'll see how I feel, because I do find it quite enjoyable sitting in front of the lamp. But infrared light is really useful. Number 7 is support, and what I mean by that is, for me, it's knee support. For my husband, he has he's currently got Dr. Cuervan's syndrome in his arm, and it's not something I'd ever heard of until he's got it, but he had a lot of pain in his arm, and we found the right splint for him that he's wearing at night, and that seems to be helping a lot, and he's not taking anything else now. You know, he's not taking any painkillers. And I think when I first started buying knee supports, I just found them so uncomfortable. And I think now looking back, it's because I would buy, you know, the cheap ones that were just like a long bandage, and they would just sort of roll down at the top or the bottom, and they would feel so uncomfortable. And I would say it's worth investing in one and getting the right size. So take the time to sort of measure what size you need. This one is a really good one, actually. I don't know the make of this one. What is the make of this one? Oh, it's Boots. But this one is really comfortable, and it's the right size, you know, and it really works well. And I've actually got one on, which is a Neo one. Can you see? And this one is a really firm support that I need today, because like I said, my knee is really sore. But it's the same with elbows, wrists, you know, wherever on your body. If you can find the right type of one that is comfortable and not going to annoy you, they are really useful. But I think a lot of the time we don't find the right size, so they're either too tight or too loose, normally just too tight, I think, and they don't sit right, and then you just end up taking them off and they don't serve any purpose. But I think if you can get the right ones, they're really useful. The final thing I want to mention is orthotics, because orthotics are something that can help you with head to toe pain of any kind, like joint pain, nerve pain, muscle pain. And it took me so long to convince my husband to go and get orthotics. It's not true. I convinced him at first to get Superfeet. Superfeet are something you can buy from Taizo's. They're about £35. It's one of those things that you think, really, I'm going to go and buy these big, thick, chunky things that actually when you first use them, they feel really uncomfortable. But I promise you, it doesn't take long to get used to wearing them, and the differences are insane in your body. So I did eventually convince Kev to get these Superfeet, and he started wearing them for golf. This is many, many years ago. And his back stopped hurting, and he was like, this is amazing. And so then somebody told me about going to this private, what was she? Podiatrist, I guess, and getting orthotics made, which I did. And so I have these orthotics now. Now, they were super expensive. They were £300, but they have been worth every penny and more. And I would like not eat for a week in order to buy these, honestly, because they cured my plantar fasciitis. Literally, I had tried everything. I had been to the NHS podiatrist and got lifts on my normal. I've got so many different types of orthotics. I was already wearing orthotics at the time, so I was used to them, but these are very, very hard plastic, but they're very custom, So I then tried to persuade my husband to go there, which he did, and he had had a knee problem for a long time, and his knee problem is now gone since wearing orthotics. His knee problem is gone, he had an ankle problem, and his back is fine. So since getting orthotics, all sorts of problems have disappeared for him. But I know somebody that had a jaw problem, and that's disappeared. There's all sorts of problems from just your posture not being right, and I see that many people walking like with their feet collapsed in, and just their posture not right, and these orthotics, you don't notice them after a couple of weeks. I don't even remember how long it took to get used to them. I don't even think it was that long, but after not very long at all, you get used to them, and your body is then in alignment and is not pressing on nerves that shouldn't be being pressed on, and tiring out muscles that don't need to be tired out. It can do so many things. So I would urge you to try something like Superfeet if you don't want to, you can go to the NHS and get orthotics. I think you can probably self-refer to a physio and see if they can give you orthotics as well. That's where I got my first pair of orthotics. Or you can just go to Tyso's and get a pair of Superfeet. You can probably get them on Amazon as well. I'll link them if they're on Amazon for you. But yeah, don't underestimate how well they can help you. And like I said, it feels like you've got a stone in your shoe at first, but you quickly get used to that, and it's worth the wait. It really is. So those are the things, I think there's 8 things there, weren't they, that I would say are the best pain relief ideas that are non-medical. I hope you found that useful. Let me know if there's anything I've missed off this list. What do you use that's natural? Are you happy to use medical pain relief, or do you prefer to go all natural? And I will speak to you again soon.